welcome back to You Can Paint. It's so good to be back with you again. We have a wonderful painting that we're going to do for you today. This one is a vase of flowers. So we have quite a bit to cover with you, so we'll get started with our painting as soon as we can, and I'll bring you up to date on what's happened since the last time we were together. I'd like to start off by telling you the colors that we'll be using today. We'll start off with our lighter colors on the left, and of course we have a white, we have a nice yellow color. We would probably call this a deep orange, and an Indian yellow. We have a deep red. I like to call it deep crimson. We have very powerful deep blue, Van Dyke brown, and we have an ivory black. So these are the colors that we'll be using in today's painting. I'd like you to look up at our canvas, and I'll tell you what I've done before we get started. And that is that I have covered this entire canvas panel with a very thin coating of a white oil-based paint. This is our undercoating to make the canvas nice and smooth, so it'll be receptive to our paints today, and so that our paints will be able to move on the canvas. I've also penciled in here the outline of our vase and a table. I did this by using a vase that I drew and cut out, and used a number 3 or number 4 pencil, a nice hard lead. Don't use a soft lead when you do this, because when you put your undercoating on, it tends to make the lines smear. And this will be our shadow back here. Now I know I could probably do this freehand, but we only have 28 minutes and 30 seconds for part 1 of our program today, and this will make things go a little bit faster. So let's go up here to the canvas and get started. Okay, let's begin by going directly into a black color with about a 1-inch long bristle brush that we have. Just go right into that black there, and the first thing we're going to do is set up the shadows for the vase. Now, you may have heard me say before that for a right-handed person, it's better for the shadows to be on the left and for the light source to be from the right. So we'll begin by outlining the entire vase. And we'll outline it with a black color. And in just one moment, you'll see how we can get our shadows to be on one side and our light source to be on the other. Now that's the basic outline of the vase there. Now in order to make a shadow on this side of the painting, we'll put a little bit more black. Solid black on the left-hand side of our vase. Let's put some more in there. Now, remember, the vase is round, so let your brush strokes be in a round pattern. So the vase will appear to be round when we're finished with it. We wouldn't want to paint up and down like this. So we want our strokes to be in a circular pattern. And you see how I have more dark on the left-hand side. Now let's go up in, it's going to be a red vase, so let's go up into the red, get a little bit of the red on our brush, and come up here and start making the vase red. And we'll do that by just mixing the red and the black together. Now as we get near the center of the vase, our brush strokes are probably going to be more vertical, because now we're going to go to the other side and we'll come back and get a little more red, and we'll go back to the other side of the vase and we'll paint some red in over there. Keeping in mind that we want our strokes to be arcing so the vase has some shape to it. We want this painting to appear to have depth. And suddenly we have something that looks like a vase there. Now, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how well you can see that color red on your screen there. So what I'm going to do is lighten it up a little bit just so you can see it, and I'll lighten it up by coming over here, getting a little bit of our white color and just a tad of the red, and then we'll come back here and we'll make that a little lighter for you. How's that? Is that a little better? And now we'll come back with a little more solid red. And we'll just blend the red into the black. And let's get a little more of that solid red. Probably a little bit of white also. And go up to the lip of the vase and blend some of that in as well. Now we'll come in and get just a little bit more white. Just a little more white. And go a little bit to the right of the painting there, and to the right of the vase. Brighten that part up. Come back and blend into the dark. Now how's that? I think that's a little better. And now you may want to take a clean brush, a bristle brush, which just goes straight into white. Load it up nice and full there. Pick out a point on the vase where you'd like to see a reflection. I think it should be right here. We're going to make one stroke and put in a reflection. Let that be your reflection there. Take the other side of your brush, that's this side, go up here to the top and put another reflection in on the lip of the vase, like right there. Alright, now it's time to paint the shadow. The shadow of the vase, which is right down here. And this is very simple because we'll just take the same brush and we'll go right into a black color there. And let's just paint this black. Start next to the vase. Take your time and fill this in. And while we are doing this, I'd like to say to you that the artistic community lost a very dear friend not long ago. We were very saddened to hear of the passing away of Mr. Bob Ross. So we'd like to extend our condolences to the family, and we'd like to make it known to all of you that Mr. Ross was a wonderful person, and we are confident that our world wouldn't have half the problems that we have today if there were more people like Bob Ross. We're sad to hear about his passing away. Now, I've also put in just a touch of red in this shadow. That's okay. And these lines around the shadow here don't have to be perfectly straight, because when we do the tabletop and the background, we're going to soften those lines anyway. So don't worry about it. If you can't paint a straight line, it's okay. All you need is the desire, and we will supply the tools and the technique. And you will see that you can paint. And now let's do the tabletop. Now the tabletop mixture is going to be a mixture of white that we have here and some of this yellow. Not much. Not much at all. Actually, I went into the orange there. That's okay. When we paint a white, when we paint something that's white, we like for it to have just a little bit of yellow in it. You'd be surprised at how much it makes the white actually stand out later on. Now I'm using a larger brush here. This is a 1.5 inch or 2 inch brush, and I'm using this because I want this to go just a little bit faster. Now you can use a small brush and take as much time as you like. And but I think you'll find that 2 inch brush is just a little bit more convenient here. Let's get a little more white in here. Now we're using horizontal strokes and vertical strokes. To fill in this tabletop. Now, I mentioned before, this is a 2-part program. I do not think we'll be able to get the flowers in this segment, but we'll try to get the background in and as much of the flower portion as we possibly can. And if there's enough time remaining in part number 2, we'll try and put a rose in with our flowers. Roses are not exactly difficult, but they do take time. We're going to try and put in some daisies. I think we can do daisies in a short period of time, and you should be able to get some good ideas from that. And of course, we'll put in as many leaves and filler as we possibly can. Give you an idea of how much fun you can have with oil painting. And now let's do the background. Now I'm going to use the same brush as before, and the background is going to be fun. It's going to be a number of different colors. Let's start out with some white from the part we were using before. Let's get that in the brush. Let's take a little bit of red. Let's get some of that in there. And let's get some of this blue, just a little bit of the blue. The blue is a powerful, powerful color. You do not need a lot of it. Now let's just start out with that and see what happens with our background. Let's start over here in this corner, and then we'll work around like this. As we get up here in this area, let's take a little more of that blue and let's work that in there. Now these strokes are just X's, and we're kind of mixing in some blue, we're mixing in some red, and we're mixing in some white. Now our background doesn't have to be as smooth and as perfectly stroked as you might think. As a matter of fact, we want the background to look a little bit, just a little bit out of focus, if you will. And I'd like for you to pay particular attention to this area right in here. That's got to be nice and dark, and here's why. It's because when we put our flowers in, our white flowers, we want them to have something to stand out against. It's mighty difficult to show a white flower on a white background. So we want our background here to be as dark as we can right in this area, because that's where we're going to have some flowers. Let's even go in and get a little bit of that black, that ivory black, and put that in there, just to darken things up. And when you're working with the blue and the blacks, you have to be kind of careful because they are very, very strong colors. Here I'm going to try and get down as close to the top of the vase as possible, but I'm not going to worry about that because most of that's going to be covered with leaves and flowers anyway. Now as we get down in here, we are going to have to get as close to the vase as we can. And you got to be careful not to get over into that vase with your 2-inch brush. If you do, you'll smear it, and then you'll have to correct the mistake. Paint over it or scrape it off, which is no problem. However, take your time, hold your breath if you have to. I made a little mistake there. I don't know if you can see it. We'll try and correct it a little later. Should be no problem. We'll take a clean brush and just go right over that. Should take maybe one stroke. Now here's where I probably want to take a smaller brush. Let's take this one. First of all, we'll correct the mistake right here. I don't know if you can see that. Come up here real close and take a look at that. Can you see the mistake right there? So we'll just take a clean brush and just go over that. And that clears up the mistake. Now let's take a clean brush and just go right in here. We'll get some of the color from the background onto our clean brush, and we'll use that to come down close to the shadow. This way we don't have to mix up a new color and match it to the color that we already have, because matching color sometimes can be kind of tough to do. I mean, it's easy enough to do, but it just take a little bit more time than we have today. Now, once we've come down right close to the shadow color, just take the clean brush, and I think maybe you might want to come up close and take a look at this. We'll take our clean brush and soften this color. To kind of bring it out of focus. While we're here, we'll also soften the edge of the vase. And the softening works best sometimes with a clean brush, because once your brush gets contaminated, you may find yourself making a little bit more, softening a little more than you'd like. And when that happens, you just stop, clean the brush, and start over again. Now let's go back in here and make something out of this. There we go, and that kind of evens all that up. And now let's go back to our 2-inch brush and finish the rest of the background on the other side of the painting. And we'll do the same thing with the background as we come close to the edge of the brush there, the edge of the vase rather. Try to show you how I do that there. I'm trying to get out of the way so you can see that. Make the X's, go along to the side of the painting there. And now let's get that small brush again. Extend the background close to the vase. And soften the edge. Now I think I'd like to pick up some color from up here and bring that color down here so our tabletop can show up a little better. Try and get some of the red in there. Just pick it up from the other side, bring that over. And then we can go back to the 2-inch brush, kind of blend it out just a little bit there, and finish the background. Okay, that background looks nice and out of focus there, and abstract, if you will. Let's go in and take a closer look at it so you can see some of those brush strokes. Now you can see the brush strokes a little better, I think, now. And if you were to take a blending brush, you could just blend all this so none of the brush strokes would show up at all. I think I'd rather for these strokes to show up in this painting. And I really can't emphasize how important it is to have a nice dark area right here. We can darken this up. Now if we don't use a shadow to darken it up, a background to darken this, we'll have to use leaves so that our white flowers would actually stand out. So it's better to get this background darkened before we get to that point. It'll make the flowers a lot easier to do. And let's just do a little bit more. A little more operating around here. Much of this is not to be concerned about because a lot of this is going to be covered over with small leaves and other things that we can use to fill in. Now I think that is just about all that we are going to be able to get into today's painting. And try and soften out some of this just enough to give you an idea of the games that we have to play with our background here. I think you're going to like this painting, I really do. And I do hope that you will come back and see us next time when we'll have another part of this painting. And you're going to love this because you can paint. Believe me, you can do this. Keep your cards and letters coming to us. P.O. Box 1123, Teaneck, New Jersey. We love to hear from you, and we are just delighted with the great response that we have gotten from all of you about our program. Thanks for your pictures that you've been sending us, and you would be amazed if you saw what some of our older folks and some of our younger folks have done just from You Can Paint. Believe me, it is a wonderful and relaxing thing. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.